Imagine an army so massive, led by war elephants, marching across the desert to erase the holiest site in Arabia. This is the incredible tale of Abraha.
For centuries, the Kaaba stood as a symbol of reverence and trade. But in the 6th century AD, that sacred status was violently challenged by a powerful ruler.
Abraha al-Ashram, an Abyssinian general, consolidated his power, seizing control of Yemen from the Aksumite Empire.
He was determined to solidify his rule and shift the religious gravity of the region away from Mecca and towards his capital, Sana'a.
Abraha built an astonishingly grand cathedral in Sana'a, known as the al-Qulais, intending it to replace the Kaaba as the pilgrimage center.
But the Arab tribes were fiercely loyal to the ancient structure in Mecca, resolutely ignoring his new magnificent creation. An intentional act of desecration against the al-Qulais by an Arab pilgrim enraged Abraha, giving him the perfect pretext for war.
He vowed vengeance, swearing to march upon Mecca and utterly destroy the Kaaba, ensuring his temple reigned supreme.
His true objective was clear: achieving economic and religious domination of the entire Arabian Peninsula by eliminating the spiritual heart of Arabia.
Abraha amassed a formidable force, numbering perhaps tens of thousands of well-equipped and professional soldiers.
The most terrifying element of this army was the presence of war elephants, creatures previously unknown to most Arabs in this region.
The largest and most crucial elephant was named Mahmud, a symbol of Abraha's overwhelming and unstoppable military power.
As the army marched north, local tribes attempted resistance, but were quickly overwhelmed by the army's sheer discipline and might.
Abraha's forces were unstoppable, defeating the tribe of Qatham and capturing their leader, Nufail bin Habib.
Nufail was forced to act as a guide for the invading army, leading them through the rugged Arabian terrain toward the holy city.
The word of the massive army's approach spread like wildfire across the desert, striking fear into the hearts of the Meccans.
Near Taif, the powerful Thaqif tribe, fearing destruction, offered tribute and provided another guide to Abraha's forces.
This guide, Abu Regal, died suddenly on the journey near a location called Mugamis, causing immediate concern among the troops. This unexplained death was immediately seen by the local Arabs as a grim sign, fueling the belief that the invaders were cursed to fail. The march continued relentlessly until the army camped just outside Mecca, ready for the final, devastating assault. Abraha sent out patrols to seize the properties of the Meccans, capturing hundreds of camels and livestock belonging to the Quraysh. Among the seized property were 200 camels belonging to the chief and leader of Mecca, Abd al-Muttalib. Abraha then dispatched an envoy, asking for the chief of Mecca to come and negotiate, assuring them no harm was intended if they cooperated.
Abd al-Muttalib, the grandfather of the Prophet Muhammad, arrived at Abraha's camp, commanding respect with his noble presence. Abraha was deeply impressed by the Meccan elder's demeanor, rising from his seat to greet him and honoring him by his side.
When asked what petition he had, Abraha expected him to plead for the city's safety or the Kaaba's survival.
Astonishingly, Abd al-Muttalib only requested the return of his 200 seized camels, leaving the fate of the temple unmentioned.
Abraha was shocked, expressing disappointment that the chief cared more for mere animals than for his sacred temple.
I am the Lord of the camels, and the house has a Lord who will surely defend it.
Abraha returned the camels, but the Meccan elders were told to evacuate the city and retreat quickly to the surrounding mountains.
Abd al-Muttalib stood by the Kaaba's door, praying earnestly for divine protection before joining his people in the hills.
The next morning, Abraha prepared his troops for the final, destructive march. Mahmud, the lead elephant, was positioned at the front.
When they tried to move, however, the mighty elephant Mahmud immediately refused to budge when pointed towards Mecca.
Every time they pointed him south or east, the elephant moved readily, but faced towards the Kaaba, he would kneel down in stubborn defiance.
This strange, unexpected defiance caused confusion and panic among the frontline troops,
delaying the planned assault. Suddenly, the sky darkened, and a peculiar sight appeared, flocks of small birds arriving swiftly from the direction of the sea.
These birds, identified as ababil, carried small clay pebbles, hardened like baked clay, in their beaks and talons.
They began raining down these hard pebbles upon Abraha's army, targeting the soldiers and the elephants below them. The stones acted like hot shrapnel, striking the soldiers and penetrating their armor, causing immediate, painful, and fatal wounds.
The effect was instantaneous and devastating. Men and animals fell sick, their skin blistering and tearing away, rotting rapidly.
Chaos erupted. The organized army dissolved into a terrified, fleeing mob, trampling over each other in their desperation to escape the plague.
Abraha himself was struck by multiple pebbles. His body began to rot and fall apart as he desperately ordered a retreat. As the decimated forces fled south, Abraha died miserably before reaching Sana'a, his grand ambition utterly ruined and forgotten. The few survivors told the tale of the miraculous destruction, confirming the power of the Kaaba's divine protector.
This year, marked by the destruction of the elephant army, became known throughout Arabia as the historically significant Year of the Elephant.
This event occurred in the exact year or shortly before the birth of the Prophet Muhammad, weaving the miracle into the fabric of history.
The event is immortalized in the Quran, specifically Surah al-Fil, the elephant, a testament to the undeniable divine intervention.
The failure of Abraha demonstrated that the sanctity of the Kaaba rested not on human military power, but on a higher protective decree.
The story reinforces a profound message. No material force, no matter how great its scale, can ultimately prevail